Got some Zep in the step. Yes, we do. GMO Tuesday. GMO Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Alliday Mobile Media Studio. That's right. Yes, we are. Me and Wilson here. We are live this morning. Hey, Foothill Feed and Mercantile. Foothill Feed and Mercantile. Ladies and gentlemen, you want non-GMO food, certified organic feed for your animals. You're worried about their health, or you're raising a pig to put on the barbecue, going to have him hold an apple in his mouth. Tell me this wouldn't be a great thing to do with a pig. Tell me this would not just be off the hook crazy. People would come over and pay to watch this. You have a pig laying in the middle of your living room, got an apple in his mouth, got his legs all out, and he's just laying there. Just laying there, not saying a word. Just laying there with the apple in his mouth. Your buddy comes in, he sits down in the chair there, man, he looks, hey, nice pig. Pig gets up, spits the apple at him, and walks out of the room. Tell me that would not be off the hook. I know. Foothill Feed and Mercantile, ladies and gentlemen. Non-GMO food. Got the organic food. You don't want a pig with a 30 or an eye in the middle of his forehead or nothing like that, looking crazy at the barbecue. They got it. They got the good feed there, non-GMO food. You know, the big news this week in the GMO world, scientists have been listening. Are they listening to Nancy Reagan? Are they? Think about it. Think about it. What was Nancy famous for? Just say no. Just say no. That's why Ronnie was always miserable. She just said no. Scientists are saying no to Monsanto this week. Of course, got the big summit for regulation. Let's get all the scientists in a room. Why do you think the scientists are saying no this time? They feel Monsanto wants to direct the narrative. Like they've done for the last 100+ years. Think about that. Let that sink in. Right now, there's a big issue. This new thing they have, dicamba. Pretty treacherous stuff. Been around for many years. Has not been used. Has been on the back shelf. Oh, by the way, now remember the ruse, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the ruse. Where are they? Our guest of honor. Oh, my goodness, I forgot my guest of honor. Hang on. I got to go get him. I got to bring him in. The guest of honor. Hey, it's the Wilcox Organics. It's the Bold Eggs. This is week number 10. Week number 10 on... They are the top of the list. They're the guest of honor. It took them 6 months. 6 months sitting on the shelf, waiting in line to become a guest on the show. They're not giving up their top spot, ladies and gentlemen. 10 weeks for the Bold Eggs. Wilcox Organic. Are they? Remember, we got all these different things. So you use less of this. So you use less of that. What kind of less? How about less of that? I will give you some of this, because you're going to use less of this. My number one selling product, oh my goodness. Now everything, oh my gosh, no. Are you kidding me? It doesn't work anymore. I got weeds that are too strong. I got bugs that are too strong for my number one selling chemical that we're going to sell less of. Of course they're going to sell less of it because it doesn't work anymore. Yeah, now we got to sell a stronger, uglier, nastier chemical to fix everything. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get real. Whom do your elected officials represent? This is what this boils down to. Debbie, let me stab my constituents in the back. Let me just stab them in the back. Stabbing now. Fitting name, isn't it? Give us a QR code for a food labeling bill after she takes $15,000 from Monsanto. Talk about needing to drain the swamp. Talk about needing to drain the swamp. One of the situations, here's what happens with this, with the dicamba, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what happens. It's a process called volatilization. It vaporizes. When they put it in a sprayer or something, it vaporizes. But what happens, the volatility there is very unpredictable. You don't know where it's going to go, where it's going to drift. If you got a spray up in the air and the air's moving this way, it's liable to drift that way. But what happens if it goes up in the air and the air swirls back on you, and it gets the neighbor over here that's an organic certified place? Now all of a sudden he's not organic anymore. Monsanto knows this kind of stuff. Do you think for 1 minute some wheat mysteriously planted itself in rows? No, we need to get it out there to test the GMO element in our wheat. That shit just didn't just start growing by itself. Get out of here. Get out of here. But that is the big thing. I mean, hey, maybe that pecuniary greed isn't. I mean, you got to think about it now. Last week we reported on Stanford, another highly, world acclaimed academic institution, tainted by pecuniary greed, and a scientist that put his name on Monsanto's literature. I don't know. I don't know how long this can go on before our government has to step in and say, okay, stop. Of course, Monsanto, I think they got secrets all over the place. But the scientists, they just don't think Monsanto is going to discuss volatilization. They're not going to discuss the issues that this. And now remember, you got Arkansas, you got Missouri, two of the biggest places affected by this chemical, saying no. And the scientists, the weed experts from their agriculture departments are saying, no, we're not coming. No, you're not going to do this to us again and have us put our name on something. Yeah, have us put our name on something. One of the things, think about this for a minute. Glyphosate is a chemical. It has to be produced. How are we going to produce it? We're going to produce it from some phosphorus kind of thing. They up there in Soda Springs, they mine this stuff. They process everything. They dump it over a cliff into a pit, like kind of like Love Canal was. I mean, I don't know if you remember Love Canal. Remember the last great big radioactive place? Of course, that was Hooker Chemicals. That's right, Hooker Chemicals. Now Occidental, if I remember correctly. But they did this thing. They bought 700 acres of land. Hooker Chemical did, from folks up there, and they buried all this stuff. And the EPA says okay to it. This was back in the 70s. All of a sudden, people started waking up, weird things going on. Found out that Hooker Chemical lied about what they put in the ground. Not just lied and did it, but I mean, it was really an ugly scene, but that was a super fun going on there. That's what's going on up in Soda Springs. They've sold all kinds of property up there. I want you guys to think about something for just a minute here. Let's back up for just a second and let's look at something realistically. $6.9 billion worth, or $6.3 billion worth of Roundup was sold. That's what the sales were last year. That's a lot of Roundup. Got to make it. Let's get the chemical up there in Soda Springs. We're harvesting that chemical. We're processing that chemical. We're making a radioactive waste product. We're dumping it in a hole. We're sending it out to Soda Springs. We're laying it everywhere. They're building on it. They're a happy camper. But they got a third eye in their forehead. according to the EPA. According to the EPA, our wonderful environmental protection agency. How about our wonderful environmental pecuniary greed agency? That's what it is. They say it shouldn't be harmful. Radiologists are saying that the chance of coming up with a type of cancer now, any kind of cancer, because there's so much radioactivity in the area, 1 in 700 versus 5 years ago, 1 in 2,500. What's going to happen in 10 more years? Will it be 1 in 50? I mean, what is 700? 700 would be 3.5 times 2,500. Approximately, that'd be 2,450. So we're looking at 33%. What's 30, 60? Take, you're looking at 1 in 200. That's a pretty alarming number when you think most communities have 10,000 people in them. That's 50,000 people with cancer. 5,000, I'm sorry. No, wait a minute. 10,000 people, 1 every 200, so you'd have 5 every 1,000, so you would have 50 people out of 10,000 people with the same kind of cancer or something. That's a lot of people for just 10,000 people to come up with cancer because of something. That, to me, says, hey, we need to reevaluate the situation. I don't know what's going to happen up in Soda Springs, up in Idaho there, but the EPA says it should not be harmful. Remember, it was another federal agency, gave us substantially equivalent. Oh, they didn't lie to us about that, did they? Oh, good googly wooglies, no. They didn't lie to us about that, did they? You know who doesn't lie? MDG Blogger over there, organic for green livings.com. Great website. Girl got some off the hook stuff, and her pictures there. She's out there in the garden, man. She's a little cutie pie. Come work my garden there, MDG Blogger. Come work my garden, please. But she ain't going to BS you. She's going to tell you like it is. Someone else will tell you like it is. That Paula Mayer, and look in the link here, Bondi Radio. Before I get to Bondi, Paula Mayer, of course, Paula's Healthy Living out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I don't know what's going back there with all the sports teams, but it's madness, but not on her website. You can go get some good information off her website. I saw a really good recipe the other day, and I can't remember it now, but it was like, I even said something to her, hey, I got to try this. But it was a good recipe. Of course, Bondi Radio, ladies and gentlemen. Wellness Radio, the Bondi Radio Network. You can catch it on the TuneIn app. They're out of Down Under. Think about this. You got, what are they, 5,000 miles around the world from us? I don't know how far they are. They're halfway around the world, though. I can safely say that. They're halfway around the world. Down under, Australia. They want healthy living, too. They want the same thing we want here in the United States. They don't want the GMO corn and soy, just like we don't want it. Just like we don't want it. Do you want poison in your food?